Every single second, an immense cascade of solar energy bathes our planet. The sheer quantity of this energy is almost beyond comprehension. More sunlight strikes the Earth's surface in a single hour than all of humanity consumes in an entire year. For decades, we have become increasingly adept at harnessing this power. We see the evidence of our progress across rooftops, deserts, fields, vast arrays of solar panels diligently converting photons into electrons, feeding clean electricity into our homes and industries. This technology is a monumental step away from fossil fuels, tapping the sun's generosity during daylight hours. However, the sun does not always shine. The inherent challenge of solar power is intermittency. When night falls, when clouds gather, when winter's grip shortens the days, our ability to generate solar electricity wanes. This creates a fundamental problem of storage. While batteries can store electricity for hours or even days and provide a crucial buffer for the grid, they are not a perfect solution for all energy needs. Storing enough energy to last through dark, cold months of winter, or to power heavy machinery of global commerce cargo ships, long-haul aircraft, remains a formidable technological and economic hurdle. This is where a revolutionary idea emerges, inspired by nature. Imagine doing more than converting sunlight into fleeting electrical currents. Imagine capturing the very essence of sunlight and storing it in chemical bonds, a liquid fuel. This is the promise of artificial photosynthesis. It is the science of creating liquid sunshine, allowing us to bottle sunlight itself, transforming transient beams into a stable, energy-dense fuel that can be stored, transported, and used anywhere. The concept is elegant and powerful. It seeks machines that mimic photosynthesis, the process powering life for billions of years. Like a simple leaf using sunlight to transform water and carbon dioxide into energy-rich sugars. Artificial systems would use sunlight to split water molecules and recycle carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The end products would not be sugars, but clean, high-energy fuels like hydrogen or simple alcohols. This would create a closed-loop, carbon-neutral energy cycle, turning our greatest waste product, CO2, into a valuable resource for a sustainable future. The natural world offers us the ultimate blueprint for solar fuel production. Within every green leaf, a microscopic marvel of engineering is constantly at work, a three-step magic trick perfected over eons of evolution. First, chlorophyll acts as tiny antennas, capturing incoming photons. Second, that light energy excites and separates electrical charges, freeing electrons. Finally, protein catalysts channel that energy to drive reactions and forge energy-rich bonds. Those bonds build the molecules that sustain the plant. Plants use this to make sugars fuel for growth and metabolism. Scientists aim to do the same core sequence but with different ingredients and outcomes. Capture light, separate charges, drive chemistry. Instead of sugars, the target is high-density fuels for modern use. The core idea stays the same: photons, charges, bonds. Researchers swap biology for materials science. Replace chlorophyll with silicon, or replace it with perovskite semiconductors. These materials efficiently turn photons into electrical charges. Replace enzymes with engineered catalysts made from Earth-abundant metals. Those catalysts coax water molecules apart. They also work on carbon dioxide molecules. The products can be hydrogen gas or liquid methanol. Different components, same outcome. Sunlight in, stored chemical energy out. This vision has galvanized the scientific community over the past decade. Moonshot projects bring together chemistry, physics, engineering. They're turning scattered lab experiments into a cohesive scientific playbook, paving the way for a future powered by liquid sunshine. The quest to create artificial photosynthesis is not a new one, but for many decades, it remained a fragmented landscape of individual labs pursuing their own unique approaches. Progress was steady but slow, often limited by the scale of funding and the immense complexity of integrating light absorbers, catalysts, and stable device structures. A true breakthrough would require a different kind of scientific enterprise, one that was larger, more collaborative, and more focused than anything that had come before. It needed a moonshot, a grand challenge that could unite the brightest minds under a single, ambitious banner. This vision began to crystallize in the early 21st century, as the urgency of climate change and energy security grew more acute, prompting governments to invest in high-risk, high-reward research. This call to action was answered by the establishment of major, coordinated research programs designed to accelerate progress in solar fuels. One of the most prominent and influential of these initiatives was the Joint Center for Artificial Photosynthesis, a US-02S. Department of Energy Innovation Hub founded in 2010, JCAP represented a paradigm shift in how this research was conducted. Instead of isolated teams working on disparate pieces of the puzzle, JCAP brought together a multidisciplinary army of over 100 scientists from leading institutions like Caltech and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. Their mission was clear and audacious: to develop a scalable, manufacturable solar fuels generator and, in doing so, lay the scientific groundwork for a whole new industry. The creation of JCAP and similar large-scale projects around the world marked a pivotal moment. It signaled a recognition that solving the artificial photosynthesis problem was not just a matter of discovering a single magic material. It was a systems engineering challenge. It required a deep, integrated understanding of everything from the quantum mechanics of light absorption to the fluid dynamics of gas bubbles on an electrode surface. These large centers were structured to tackle the problem holistically, creating teams that focused on discovering new materials, others on fabricating and testing prototype devices, and still others on developing the theoretical models needed to guide the experimental work and understand the results. This centralized, mission-driven approach fundamentally changed the pace and nature of the field. It allowed for the rapid screening of thousands of potential material combinations for catalysts and light absorbers, using high-throughput robotic systems that were beyond the reach of smaller university labs. It facilitated the construction of sophisticated instruments designed specifically to probe the fleeting chemical reactions that occur at the interface between a material and water in the first picoseconds after a photon strikes. For the first time, researchers were not just building devices, they were building a comprehensive, foundational understanding of how to make sunlight to fuel conversion work efficiently and durably. This was the birth of a new, systematic science of bottling sunshine. At the heart of JCAP's mission was a simple yet profound goal: to build a functional, integrated device that could do what a leaf does, only better and with a different end product. To get there, scientists first had to systematically deconstruct the challenge into its core components, creating a research roadmap that could be pursued by different teams in parallel. They identified three critical pillars that any successful artificial photosynthesis system must master. The first was the efficient harvesting of sunlight. A device must be able to absorb a large portion of the solar spectrum and convert that light energy into a useful electrical voltage and current, the raw power needed to drive the subsequent chemistry. This meant moving beyond simple materials to develop sophisticated, multi-layered structures. The second pillar was the catalysis of the fuel-forming reactions. Once you have generated electrical charges from sunlight, you need highly specialized materials catalysts to direct those charges to do the right kind of work. One catalyst for splitting water to release oxygen and protons, the oxygen evolution reaction. Another catalyst for combining protons and electrons into hydrogen gas, the hydrogen evolution reaction. Finding catalysts that were fast and efficient, and also cheap, abundant, and stable, was a monumental task. The third pillar was integration, combining all components into a single, stable, and safe device. A great light-absorbing material in one beaker and a great catalyst in another are different from putting them together to run for thousands of hours submerged in water under intense sunlight. The semiconductor that absorbs light is often highly susceptible to corrosion, so it needs a protective coating atomically thin, perfectly uniform, flawlessly conductive, and completely transparent to light. That protective layer became one of the field's most intensely studied challenges. The final system must be safe and efficient. The two products, hydrogen and oxygen, form an explosive mixture and must be kept rigorously separated. That can be done with a physical barrier, like a specialized membrane, or with a clever geometric design that whisks gases away. The device must manage heat-handle impurities in the water and resist physical degradation over years. JCAP treated these requirements as central design criteria from day one, building the foundation for future commercial technology. Over its decade-long initial run, JCAP and its global counterparts succeeded in transforming the field. They didn't produce a single device that was ready to be rolled out at massive scale, but they did something arguably more important: they wrote the playbook. They systematically identified the key bottlenecks and developed a robust set of principles and best practices for overcoming them. This scientific playbook provided a clear, evidence-based roadmap for future researchers and engineers. One of its most crucial chapters focused on how to protect the delicate, high-performance semiconductors needed to efficiently capture sunlight. Without this protection, even the best materials would be eaten away by corrosion in mere minutes or hours. The team pioneered the use of ultra-thin coatings, developing techniques like atomic layer deposition to apply protective films of materials like titanium dioxide or nickel oxide, just a few nanometers thick. Scientists placing wafer-like device in beaker, wires attached. These layers act like a microscopic suit of armor, shielding the light absorber from the corrosive water environment while remaining transparent enough for light to pass through and conductive enough for electrical charges to escape. This work extended the operational lifetime of high-efficiency photoelectrodes from minutes to days and then to weeks, proving that long-term stability was not an impossible dream. This was a critical proof of concept that demonstrated a viable path forward for building durable, integrated devices that could survive in the real world. Another key chapter in the playbook addressed the challenge of catalysts. While precious metals like platinum and iridium are excellent catalysts for producing hydrogen and oxygen, they are far too rare and expensive for global-scale deployment. JCAP's researchers therefore dedicated enormous effort to discovering and developing catalysts made from cheap, earth-abundant elements like nickel, cobalt, and iron. Through a combination of high-throughput experimentation and advanced computational modeling, they developed a deep understanding of what made these materials work. They learned how to tune their composition and structure to create highly active and stable catalysts, such as nickel-iron oxyhydroxides for the oxygen-producing side, which in some cases could outperform their precious metal counterparts. Finally, the playbook detailed how to assemble all the pieces into complete, functional systems that turn sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide directly into fuel. This involved designing and building a series of fully integrated prototypes, from simple artificial leaf tiles to more complex wired architectures. These prototypes served as invaluable test beds, allowing scientists to measure overall solar-to-fuel efficiency and diagnose failure points in real time. By methodically building, testing, and improving these systems, JCAP helped move the entire field forward. They turned a scattered set of academic experiments into a coherent engineering discipline, providing the fundamental knowledge base upon which the next generation of liquid sunshine technologies will be built. The term artificial photosynthesis is wonderfully evocative, painting a picture of a mechanical leaf turning sunlight into liquid fuel. In reality, this term serves as a broad umbrella, covering several distinct technological pathways that share a goal: converting sunlight into chemical bonds. Inputs: sunlight, water, often carbon dioxide. Outputs: hydrogen alcohols. The hardware used can look very different. Understanding these routes is key, moving liquid sunshine from the laboratory to industrial scale. Each approach represents trade-offs: efficiency, cost, complexity, durability. These routes can be broadly sorted into three main families: Photoelectrochemical or PEC, water splitting; photocatalytic particulates, microscopic powders suspended in water; and hybrids, conventional photovoltaics paired with separate electrolyzers. Each of these families has its own passionate proponents around the world. The choice between hardware configurations reflects a debate about integration. Highly integrated systems like PEC cells promise elegance and potentially lower material costs by combining light absorption and chemistry into a single compact device. However, this tight integration also creates immense engineering challenges, as each component must work flawlessly in close proximity to the others. In contrast, separated systems like PV-Electrolyzer Hybrids use components that are already technologically mature and optimized for their individual tasks, offering a faster route to deployment, but potentially at the cost of higher system complexity and capital investment. Ultimately, every one of these setups must incorporate the same essential cast of characters to succeed. Each requires a light absorber, the component that acts as the primary solar catcher. Each needs powerful catalysts to efficiently drive the desired chemical reactions, whether it's splitting water or reducing carbon dioxide. They all need some mechanism, either a physical membrane or a clever design trick, to ensure the valuable fuel products are kept safely separated from their byproducts. And finally, they all require a supporting infrastructure, plumbing sensors, and control systems that manage gas bubbles, water quality, temperature, and overall operational safety. The photoelectrochemical, or PEC route, is the one most often envisioned when people speak of a true artificial leaf. The classic PEC device is an elegant, highly integrated system where the work of capturing sunlight and driving chemistry happens in the very same place. Imagine a thin, specially engineered material, a photoelectrode that is dipped directly into water. This photoelectrode is a sandwich of materials, with a light-absorbing semiconductor at its core and a thin layer of catalyst coated on its surface. When sunlight strikes the semiconductor, it energizes and knocks loose a cascade of electrons, creating an electrical current. This solar-generated electricity is then immediately put to work by the catalysts right at the device's surface. On one side of the device, a specialized catalyst uses these solar-powered electrons to combine with protons from the water, forming bubbles of pure hydrogen gas, our target fuel. Simultaneously, on the other side, a different catalyst facilitates the removal of those electrons from water molecules, a process that results in the formation of oxygen gas. The beauty of this design lies in its directness. Light is converted directly into chemical products without the need for external wiring or complex power electronics. This direct conversion pathway minimizes energy losses that can occur when electricity has to be transported over wires from a solar panel to a separate chemical reactor, offering a potential for very high overall efficiency. Within the world of PEC systems, there are further design variations. Some devices are engineered to be completely wireless. These are often small, self-contained tiles or panels that you can simply submerge in water. Shine a light on them, and they begin producing fuel, with bubbles rising directly from their surfaces. This approach is conceptually simple and could potentially lead to very low-cost, large-area reactors that look like shallow ponds filled with these fuel-generating tiles. The main engineering challenge for these wireless systems is efficiently and safely collecting the hydrogen and oxygen gases, which are produced as a mixed stream and must be separated to be useful and safe. Other PEC devices follow a wired configuration. These systems often look more like a slim solar panel connected by short wires to a pair of electrodes housed in a dedicated electrochemical cell. While this adds a bit of complexity compared to the wireless approach, it provides engineers with more control. It allows them to optimize the light-absorbing component separately and optimize the chemical reactor component separately, and makes it easier to incorporate a membrane between the electrodes to ensure the pure separation of hydrogen and oxygen products from the very start. This wired design represents a middle ground between the full integration of a wireless tile and the fully separated PV electrolyzer approach, balancing elegance with practical control. While integrated PEC devices represent a beautiful and ambitious long-term goal, there is another route to solar fuels that relies on more established, market-ready technologies. This is the PV-Electrolyzer Hybrid approach. In this setup, artificial photosynthesis is broken down into two distinct and physically separate steps. First, a standard commercial solar panel, the same kind you might see on a rooftop or in a large solar farm, does what it does best. It efficiently converts sunlight into electricity. Second, that electricity is then transported through conventional wiring to a completely separate industrial unit called an electrolyzer, which uses the power to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. This approach is sometimes viewed by scientific purists as not being direct artificial photosynthesis because the light-to-chemical conversion does not happen within a single integrated device. However, this perspective overlooks the immense practical advantages of the hybrid model. Both photovoltaic panels and industrial electrolyzers are mature technologies. Decades of research and massive-scale manufacturing have made solar panels incredibly cheap, reliable, and efficient. Likewise, electrolyzers have been used in industrial chemistry for a century and are now being optimized and scaled up specifically for the production of green hydrogen from renewable electricity. By pairing these two proven technologies, we can build large-scale solar fuel facilities today. Many energy analysts and engineers see the PV plus electrolyzer pathway as the essential workhorse for the near-term future of solar fuels. It provides the fastest, most reliable, and currently most cost-effective way to begin scaling up the production of green hydrogen. As the cost of solar electricity continues to fall, the economic viability of this approach improves every year. This hydrogen can then be used directly as a clean fuel, or it can serve as a critical feedstock for the next step, combining it with captured carbon dioxide in a subsequent reactor to synthesize liquid e-fuels, such as synthetic methanol or jet fuel, effectively bottling the solar energy in a transportable liquid form. This pragmatic, two-step approach does not negate the importance of research into more integrated PEC systems. Instead, the two paths are complementary. The PV electrolyzer model allows society to build out the infrastructure and markets for renewable hydrogen and e-fuels immediately, driving down costs through learning by doing and economies of scale. In the meantime, scientists in the lab continue to perfect the more elegant, integrated artificial leaf technologies. As these more advanced systems eventually mature and become cost-competitive, they can be deployed into the very markets and supply chains that were first established by their hybrid predecessors, accelerating the transition to a world powered by liquid sunshine. At the very core of producing solar hydrogen, the simplest and most fundamental form of liquid sunshine is the chemical reaction of splitting water. This process, known as water electrolysis, seems simple on the surface, but is deceptively challenging to perform efficiently. The overall reaction takes two water molecules and, using energy from sunlight, breaks them apart into their constituent elements: two molecules of hydrogen gas, one molecule of oxygen gas. The hydrogen is our valuable fuel, a clean and energy-dense carrier. The oxygen is simply released back into the atmosphere, a harmless byproduct. This elegant transformation is the foundational chemical step for nearly all artificial photosynthesis schemes. To understand how this happens, we must look at the two distinct half reactions that occur simultaneously on different sides of the device. At the negative electrode, known as the cathode, the hydrogen-producing reaction takes place. Here, protons, which are hydrogen atoms stripped of their electrons, are combined with the electrons generated by the light absorber. The chemical equation for this is straightforward. Two protons plus two electrons yield one molecule of hydrogen gas. This is the hydrogen evolution reaction, or HER, and it represents the creation of our fuel. It is the constructive half of the process, building the energy-rich HH bond. Meanwhile, at the positive electrode or anode, the more difficult half reaction occurs, the oxygen evolution reaction, or OER. This is where the water molecules are torn apart to provide the protons and electrons needed for the other side. Here, 2 water molecules are oxidized, giving up 4 electrons and releasing 4 protons, leaving behind a single molecule of oxygen gas. This reaction is the primary bottleneck in the entire water splitting process. It requires a significant amount of energy to initiate and involves a complex 4-electron transfer that is notoriously slow. Finding a catalyst that can speed up this sluggish reaction without requiring too much energy is a central challenge for chemists. When you put these 2 half reactions together, you get the complete picture of water splitting. The electrons and protons released at the oxygen-producing anode travel through the device to the hydrogen-producing cathode, where they are recombined to form hydrogen. The overall process is a perfect cycle powered by sunlight, water is consumed, and the products are a clean fuel and breathable air. Hydrogen gas itself is a tremendously versatile energy carrier. It can be used directly in fuel cells to generate electricity burned in modified turbines for industrial heat or, most importantly, used as a fundamental chemical building block for creating more complex liquid fuels. While hydrogen is a powerful and clean fuel, our modern world also runs on carbon-based liquid fuels that are dense, easy to store, and compatible with our existing infrastructure for planes, ships, and cars. The next grand challenge in artificial photosynthesis is to go beyond water splitting and use solar energy to recycle carbon dioxide into these valuable liquid fuels. This process, known as carbon dioxide reduction, takes the hydrogen produced from water splitting or the direct solar-generated electrons and protons and uses it to convert carbon dioxide into more complex molecules. It is the chemical equivalent of teaching an old dog a new trick, turning a waste product into a valuable resource. The chemistry here is far more intricate than water splitting because carbon dioxide can be transformed into a vast array of different products. The simplest conversion combines carbon dioxide with hydrogen to produce carbon monoxide and water. This carbon monoxide, when mixed with more hydrogen, creates syngas, a crucial industrial intermediate that can be further processed into liquid fuels like synthetic diesel and jet fuel using established chemical processes. Another simple product is formate or formic acid, which can be used as a preservative or as a potential liquid carrier for hydrogen energy, as it can be safely stored and later decomposed to release hydrogen gas when needed. The true holy grail of carbon dioxide reduction is the direct synthesis of energy-dense liquid fuels like methanol and ethanol. Methanol is a simple alcohol that can be used in internal combustion engines or fuel cells. Ethanol, the same alcohol found in beverages, is already widely used as a biofuel additive. Going even further, researchers are developing catalysts that can stitch multiple carbon atoms together, a critical step for making more complex molecules. This allows for the creation of products like ethylene, a foundational chemical for the plastics industry, or even propanol, a 3-carbon alcohol with higher energy density. Achieving this level of molecular construction requires extraordinary precision. The chemical pathways that lead from carbon dioxide to these various products are all closely related, differing only by a few subtle steps. A tiny change in the reaction conditions or the catalyst surface can completely alter the final product. For example, the difference between making ethylene and ethanol, 2 molecules with 2 carbon atoms, can come down to the very last step of the reaction. The ability to precisely control the outcome and reliably produce just one desired product with high purity is the frontier of today's research, representing a major hurdle to making these e-fuels economically competitive. In the kitchen of artificial photosynthesis, the catalyst is the master chef. Visual, chefs, hat-on pot with product dial and labels, CO2s, H2O in, ethanol, ethylene steam out, sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, transforming those into valuable fuels. Without a catalyst, these ingredients would react slowly and inefficiently, producing little of use. Catalysts guide reactions to create specific products. Hydrogen, methanol, ethylene. Platinum is the classic chef for hydrogen. It's expensive. Researchers developed affordable alternatives, nickel-molybdenum alloys. For oxygen evolution, iridium oxide was once the standard. Now nickel, iron, cobalt. In carbon dioxide reduction, copper stands out for its versatility. Tweaking its surface changes outputs. Carbon monoxide. Ethylene. This flexibility is both copper's strength and challenge. Controlling its selectivity is a major research focus. Scientists use advanced tools to map catalysts at the atomic level, designing surfaces that favor one product over others. Achieving this control is crucial if you want ethanol. You don't want a mix of unwanted byproducts. The future of artificial photosynthesis depends on mastering these catalytic recipes. The light absorber is the engine of artificial photosynthesis, capturing sunlight and converting it into electrical charges. Silicon is the industry standard, abundant and reliable, but often needs an extra voltage boost to split water. Gallium arsenide, indium phosphide, arranged in tandem layers, absorb more sunlight and generate higher voltages. These multi-junction cells can split water efficiently using only sunlight, but they're costly and prone to corrosion. Protecting these high-performance materials without sacrificing efficiency is a key engineering challenge. Researchers are developing transparent, conductive coatings to shield absorbers from chemical damage. Thanks to these innovations, lab devices now achieve solar-to-hydrogen efficiencies above 20%. However, cost and durability remain obstacles to commercial adoption. These breakthroughs prove that highly efficient solar fuel production is possible. The next step, making it affordable and robust for real-world use. After light absorption, catalysts act as molecular matchmakers using electrical charges to drive fuel-forming reactions. Platinum excels at producing hydrogen but is too rare and expensive for global use. New catalysts made from nickel-molybdenum sulfide rival platinum's performance at a fraction of the cost. These advances make large-scale solar hydrogen production more feasible. Oxygen evolution is even tougher, traditionally relying on costly iridium and ruthenium oxides. Breakthroughs with nickel-iron and cobalt-based catalysts offer affordable, effective alternatives. For carbon dioxide reduction, different catalysts yield different products. Silver-gold make carbon monoxide, tin, bismuth produce formate. Copper is the most versatile, able to create multi-carbon fuels like ethylene and ethanol when its surface is precisely engineered. Controlling catalyst selectivity is key to producing valuable fuels efficiently. These innovations are transforming solar fuel technology from lab curiosity to practical solution. The right catalyst can turn sunlight into the fuels and chemicals we use every day. Splitting water produces hydrogen-oxygen gases that must be kept apart for safety and efficiency. The separator, often a membrane, acts as a barrier, preventing explosive mixing and unwanted reactions. Ideal membranes block gases but allow charged ions to pass, maintaining the device's electrical circuit. Naphthalene and similar polymers are widely used, but must be stable, conductive, and affordable. Designing membranes that last for years in harsh conditions is a major engineering challenge. Some researchers are exploring membrane-free designs, using fluid dynamics to keep gases separate. These systems eliminate membrane costs, but require precise control of water flow and gas collection. Whether using membranes or clever flow designs, safe and efficient separation is essential. The right separator boosts both performance and safety. It's a small component with a huge impact on the viability of solar fuel systems. Solar hydrogen, produced by splitting water with sunlight, is more than just a clean fuel, it's a gateway to a flexible energy future. It can power fuel cell vehicles. It can provide zero-carbon backup power for buildings and grids. Hydrogen is vital for decarbonizing heavy industry. It supplies high-temperature heat without emissions. It can be blended into natural gas pipelines, reducing the carbon footprint of heating and industry. As a chemical building block, solar hydrogen enables the production of green ammonia. Green ammonia for fertilizer. Green ammonia as shipping fuel. It's also essential for making e-fuels combining hydrogen with carbon monoxide forms syngas. Syngas, synthetic diesel. Syngas, jet fuel. Syngas, methanol. Syngas, ethanol. These processes transform captured carbon dioxide into valuable products, closing the carbon loop. Solar hydrogen's versatility makes it central to a sustainable energy and chemical economy. It's not just a fuel, it's the foundation for a new era of clean manufacturing. By harnessing sunlight, we can create fuels. By harnessing sunlight, we can create fertilizers. By harnessing sunlight, we can create plastics without fossil carbon. The promise of solar hydrogen is a cleaner, more resilient world. Nature offers powerful tools for solar fuel production microbes. Hybrid systems merge efficient materials with the precision of biology using bacteria to turn hydrogen carbon dioxide into complex fuels. The bionic leaf, for example, uses a silicon device to split water, then feeds the hydrogen to engineered bacteria. These microbes eat hydrogen and carbon dioxide, producing liquid fuels like isopropanol with remarkable efficiency. This approach bypasses the challenge of making complex molecules with inorganic catalysts alone. Early bionic leaf systems achieved solar-to-fuel efficiencies around 10% far higher than natural photosynthesis. While still experimental, these biohybrid systems show the potential to combine the best of technology and biology. The future may see living factories powered by sunlight, producing sustainable fuels and chemicals. By uniting engineered materials and microbes, we can unlock new pathways to liquid sunshine. When news of a breakthrough in artificial photosynthesis emerges, it's often accompanied by an exciting headline number, typically touting a new record for efficiency. While these milestones are important indicators of scientific progress, a deeper look reveals that a single number rarely tells the whole story. To properly evaluate the potential of any new solar fuel technology, one must look at a dashboard of key metrics that together define its practical viability. The first and most famous of these is the solar-to-fuel efficiency, STH solar-to-hydrogen STF for other solar fuels. This number answers a simple question: out of all the solar energy that hits your device, what percentage is captured and stored in chemical bonds? A second crucial metric is Faradaic efficiency. It measures the precision of the chemistry. It tells you what percentage of the solar-generated electrical current was used to create the product you wanted. Example: trying to make ethanol side products, ethylene side products, methane. The Faradaic efficiency for ethanol will be low. High Faradaic efficiency is critical for economic viability because it minimizes wasted energy and dramatically simplifies the costly downstream process of separating and purifying the desired fuel from a mixture of unwanted byproducts, ensuring that the chemical factory is running as cleanly and effectively as possible. Perhaps the most important metric of all is stability or durability. A device that corrodes after hours or days is unusable. Systems must survive constant sun exposure and contact with water for thousands of hours, ideally tens of thousands of hours. This separates laboratory curiosities from industrial-grade technologies. Progress is measured not in minutes but in months and years of continuous stable operation. Finally, all of these must be weighed against cost. Levelized cost dollars per kilogram, hydrogen dollars per gallon liquid fuel, include device material costs and the full balance of system cost: pumps, pipes, sensors, separators, safety equipment. Devices that rely on kilograms of platinum or iridium will struggle to scale. The long game. Good efficiency, high selectivity, long durability, all at a low cost. Translating a successful laboratory prototype into a practical, large-scale artificial photosynthesis plant requires moving beyond pure chemistry and materials science into the domain of robust, real-world engineering. Building a solar fuel farm is much like designing a brewery that runs on sunshine, where every component must be optimized for performance, longevity, safety. A primary engineering concern is light management. The surfaces of the reactor panels must have anti-reflective coatings or textures to absorb as much light as possible. Crucially, the system must be designed to effectively manage the gas bubbles that form on the electrode surfaces. If bubbles stick around for too long, they block incoming sunlight, effectively shutting down the reaction in that spot and lowering overall output. Another monumental engineering challenge is corrosion protection. The high-performance semiconductors that are so good at absorbing light are often the most vulnerable to being chewed up by the corrosive water environment. Engineers must therefore develop and scale up methods for applying perfectly uniform, pinhole-free protective coatings that are just nanometers thick. These coatings must be completely transparent to light and highly conductive to electricity, all while providing a durable hermetic seal. This single challenge of creating a perfect, microscopic suit of armor that can last for years is one of the most intense areas of focus for turning these technologies into reliable, commercial products that can withstand the elements. Equally important is the engineering of gas handling and separation. As the device produces hydrogen and oxygen, these gases must be cleanly and safely collected and kept apart. This involves designing efficient flow channels, reliable membranes or separators, and a network of sensors that continuously monitor gas purity. Any potential for the explosive mixture of hydrogen and oxygen to form must be engineered out of the system through conservative design margins, automated vents, and emergency shutdown protocols. The industrial safety culture that has been developed over a century of handling natural gas and industrial hydrogen must be rigorously applied from the very beginning of the design process. Finally, the entire plant must be designed to operate within a Goldilocks zone of conditions. This includes managing water quality, as impurities or biofouling from algae could damage the catalysts or block light. Depending on the location, this may require pre-treatment systems or the development of salt-tolerant devices. It also involves thermal control. The devices must be kept from getting too hot under the intense sun, which can accelerate material degradation and reduce catalyst efficiency, but also kept warm enough in colder climates for the chemical reactions to proceed at a healthy rate. It is this holistic, systems-level engineering that will ultimately determine whether liquid sunshine can flow from the lab to the world. For the vast majority of human history, our energy has been derived from the sun. For 2 centuries, however, that energy has been ancient sunlight, painstakingly captured by plants millions of years ago, and locked away deep underground in the form of fossil fuels. The act of burning coal, oil, and natural gas has been one of digging up this buried sunshine and releasing its stored energy in a sudden, powerful burst. This process built our modern world, but it has come at a tremendous cost to our climate and environment. Artificial photosynthesis represents a profound and necessary sequel to this story. It offers a pathway to a future where we power our civilization not with ancient, finite sunlight, but with fresh, abundant sunlight, captured and stored on demand each and every day. This emerging field of science and engineering is not a silver bullet. It will not replace every other form of renewable energy, nor will it absolve us of the urgent need to pursue energy efficiency and electrify as much of our economy as possible. The electrons generated by conventional solar panels and wind turbines will remain the most direct and efficient way to power our homes, charge our electric vehicles, and run our factories. However, artificial photosynthesis addresses a critical and stubborn gap in the clean energy transition. It tackles the immense challenge of decarbonizing long-haul aviation, global shipping, high-temperature industrial processes, and the production of chemical feedstocks. For these applications, we need energy-dense, storable, and transportable molecules. The journey from the laboratory bench to a global-scale industry is long and, honestly, fraught with challenges. The hurdles of durability, cost, and scalable engineering remain formidable. Success will depend not only on continued scientific breakthroughs in materials and catalysts, but also on smart, supportive policies that create a market for clean fuels. Incentives for green hydrogen, mandates for sustainable aviation fuel, and long-term investment in research and pilot projects are all essential pieces of the puzzle. These policies lower the risk for innovators and help bridge the gap between a promising prototype and a bankable industrial reality, accelerating the virtuous cycle of learning, scaling, and cost reduction. The humble leaf, through billions of years of evolution, perfected the art of weaving light, water, and air into the building blocks of life. It provided us with the ultimate blueprint for a sustainable, circular energy system. The challenge now falls to us, to our scientists, engineers, and visionaries, to learn from that natural legacy and build upon it. By teaching inert matter to perform the elegant chemistry of photosynthesis, we can create a new, powerful tool in our arsenal for combating climate change. We can open a new chapter in our energy story, one where we finally learn to live in balance with our star, powered by the clean and endless promise of liquid sunshine.